Hey, Good Fox here. So today we got some more details on Madden 18, and the things we saw in the trailer, we're seeing in blogs here. And we're gonna go over each of the blogs. We're starting with the most important one: new Madden mechanics, DB wide receiver interaction there. So I think I want to skip past a little bit of this introduction. We're gonna try and make it a little bit shorter. We're gonna go through all three, so it might be a little bit longer. But I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on it. You can go read. I'll link them in the description for each of the new 3 blogs we're getting. All right, highlight coverage. This is going to be turned off, I'm guessing, in MUT head-to-head and salary cap, but it basically tells you where to go in coverage. Press mechanics, if it's on in MUT, people are going to call people other people bums and, you know, whatever. So I don't think it's going to be. That's why I think it should be off and will be off for MUT head-to-head. All right, press mechanics. Basically, they improved pressing. And if you know what pressing and releasing, that's the press and release stat on your wide receivers and your DBs. Basically, the interaction of the line. We'll see if cover 3 press is going to actually press and run or not, and what cover 3 press is going to do, or if in Madden 17 they just bail out as soon as the ball is hiked on cover 3. Because there's a difference between man and zone presses as they go into here. With man coverage, you actually press. With zone coverage, you chuck. So you'll see chucks in zone coverage and presses in man coverage, and that's based on what you coverage your call from the playbook menu. So this also has this is very big in MUT squads. So I think in MUT squads the move is going to be either you're playing zone or you're playing man. I'm guessing many MUT squads are going to be playing zone with like a middle linebacker and then maybe 2 DBs, maybe 2 cornerbacks to chuck and get into this interaction. So you're going to want to be in man, I'm guessing, so that way you get better than just the chuck in zone coverage, even if you play a zone. So at pre-play in MUT squads, you're probably going to want to hot route your guy into man coverage. So next up, so that's kind of just they're telling you you'll get the chucks. You get those in 17 too. Where it's going to be press versus beat press, and then strength versus strength. This is strength rating, so maybe strength will do something in Madden 18. We'll be testing that out. Contextual auto chucks. Now this is something in 17 that's a big issue. You can run into receivers as a user and kind of just push them all over the field. So I don't know if you've ever done this. It's a good way of defeating. It's how I defeated 4 verticals in 16 quite a bit because people would spam that play and I get sick of them. So I just run into their, their tight end crossing the field. I push him off his route, and then my man coverage will be able to keep up with him. You can do it in 17 too. Push their tight end on his little in route that beats man coverage, and then go and cover the running back. And that's how I beat it in 16. So this year, they're actually putting contextual things, so they're doing 2-man interactions, so you won't be able to do something as cheap and pass interference and easy pass interference like that in 18, which is very cool, but we'll see how it plays out. You'll still be able to run into receivers as the defender in 18 without any penalties, because that's just MUT, and they said there's no penalties in online MUT or salary cap. All right, wide receiver release mechanics. Now, this is interesting. We're going to see how this plays out. You can kind of read it. There's the just go release when you hit right trigger, and it's basically if you're not getting pressed, you want to hit right trigger right at the snap of the ball because you're going to take off and go faster release. But you can get easily chucked and pressed in that. Same as if you use the standard release, which is just left stick. So people who don't know about the just go release or the change up releases, they'll be just using the left stick in MUT squad. So noobs are going to get wrecked, which they kind of will if they don't know about these mechanics. So I would go back and read this blog once again right before 18 launches so you can refamiliarize yourself with these change-up and how to beat wide receiver and DB press situations and how to win each side of the ball. So they talk about this metagame right here between the wide receiver and the defensive back, depending on which direction each player chooses when the ball snaps. So let's go down to their table what they have. Now right off the bat, you can see that they kind of screwed up on their table right here. This foot fire straight should be square button, not X on PS4, so that's going to screw you up. But moving forward, so if you're getting jammed, DB jam, you're going to lose it every single time against standard straight, standard right, standard left, and just go with the right trigger, plus left stick. So those are all losses. The change up straight, now I kind of have an issue with this here, and I worry that it's going to kind of become really simplified. So the wide receiver, why would you want to do anything except change up right or left? So this entire table is a loss for the wide receiver on 2 out of 3 times or more, except for this one. So the metagame comes down to you're going to choose change up right, change up left, either right or left. And you're going to try to guess opposite of the defensive back pressing. So the defensive back can press down, right, or left. So because you win 2 out of 3 times by selecting change up left and right, and your DB, if they press down, they're going to lose every time. They're gonna switch in the meta game. It's going to switch to them going right or left each time. So there's no reason for the DB to jam down anymore, because the receiver will always be doing change up right, change up left. Now the foot fire, I haven't seen this in action. Maybe the foot fire change up, the foot fire straight, because it says it's aggressive. Maybe these super wins, if you go right and left, are better than change up left and right wins, but you have such a if they press down, if they start pressing down and your foot fires, you lose. So they can auto beat your foot fires. So you want to probably be change up right and left, because you could get separation after the line of scrimmage with their later mechanics, but being pressed and losing a second on the line of scrimmage is pretty huge. A super loss, you can get locked up and you could get thrown to the ground on a super loss. So that's why I don't think foot fire is going to be very effective if you are going against a human opponent there. And I think most of the game will be change up right and left versus DB press right and left. So I worry about that simplified meta game there, even though they put a lot of time and thought into these different animations and wins. And wins are going to be based on what I said, the strength and pressing ratings versus wide receiver releases. So this is not going to be, you're not going to see this because nobody's going to have the same stats on both sides of the ball. All right, then you get the cut out of press mechanic. This is fine. So if you do end up getting locked and you lose to the wide receiver, you can also cut one way or the other. And again, it's based on your receiver's press versus strength rating. So that's one way. Just use right stick in any direction. So if you cut right and you lose, say if you change up right and you lose that right here, then you can just hit the right stick the other way, and I think you're gonna win. So maybe that's the way to go. Cut right, lose, cut left. Route running and cut move mechanics. So this one, it's pretty nice that they added a little bit way to change up to get those better animations to cut one way or the other versus just left stick and kind of gliding around the field. You hold RB and R1 and then hit right stick, and then you cut hard. You can do double moves to juke out defenders, and then go back and release it and go to left stick again. Call for ball. Everybody knows how to call for the ball. Hit A, hit X on PS, and then that'll light up for the quarterback to tell you to throw the ball, and then the CPU will throw it to you. So, all right, so nothing too. I don't have any thoughts there. That's kind of cool. Maybe the CPU will get. So they are bringing back. They say that the CPU will throw the ball to you. They are bringing back team play style MUT squads, but this is also going to be used in all modes, including franchise, MUT, and online head-to-head, which is very interesting. They ended up taking out player lock in head-to-head online because it was abusive this past year. It caused issues with the AI. You could put a guy on a smoke screen and then run a streak and win a automatic touchdown. So we'll see if it'll probably be glitchy again next year. We'll see. We'll just wait to see who gets who finds the first glitch out of it and can get those one-play touchdowns from it. All right, moving on to the target passing. We went over this a lot into the video that I went earlier today, breaking down the trailer. So a lot of this is already stuff we've talked about. Basically, talks about exactly what I talked about. You can. This is kind of cool. Place the ball between zones, force your receiver to throttle down. So put it right between two linebackers. Moving on, target passing mechanic. Oh, that's another thing. Is like you can you can switch receivers during the play by holding left trigger. Go ahead and read this. It's all very good knowledge. And again, this is another blog you're gonna want to go back to right before 18 if you want to practice this mechanic at all. So you can select the receiver you want to target pre-play. Otherwise, it's gonna be the primary receiver. Bring up your target with left trigger. Now, I would just worry. Rex did say on Twitter that Playmaker is back into the game. So what they're gonna put it on instead of left trigger, I don't know. But it's going to be into the game. So we'll see what they do with that. But and then the neutral passing target, throw to receiver. Yeah, so just read through that. I don't need to read that for you. And that is it for the target mechanics. Pretty neat stuff. You can switch before and after play, like I said. Moving on to the last one is the three different game styles. Pretty much exactly what we expected. This is kind of just it's telling you what the game styles are all about. The things that we really have to worry about, competitive game modes. Only AI with the big hitter trait can hit stick, which is really cool that they're making. This is the biggest thing to me. They're making traits mean something more than what they were last year. I mean, they did mean something, but now we have definitive proof that the developers know these traits and are coding their game around the traits themselves. So So yeah, just basically competitive is better chance at picks, better chance at catching balls, and all that. But they said we're not gonna have the drop ball bug in 17 anymore, but we still see it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with competitive. I think arcade's gonna be pretty fun to play. Basically, you play as the god player, and you'll be much more successful than the rest of the CPUs. It'd be kind of like playing, what's those games? Those beat 'em up games with it's Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That game. Not Romance of the Three Kingdoms, but the one based around the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where you're a super soldier and you just destroy all these other smaller soldiers. So that's kind of what arcade going to be. More spec catches, kind of like Madden 16, that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun. Otherwise, that's about all I want to talk about for these blogs. Go and read them if you want to read all the nitty-gritty details in them. But I will be back with more Madden 18 stuff as it comes out. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think, especially about those wide receiver mechanics. But thanks for watching Call to Action. I'll see you tomorrow.